So I welcome all our air warriors for this, remembering the war heroes of 1971 Indo-Pak War in that series. Now today is the turn of Air Commodore Sridharan sir. So today's guest to tell all his journey into 1971 war when he was the helicopter pilot. So now I would like to request you all to invite him for this webinar with a big applaud. Sir, welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. In fact, we love you and we are valor during those 50 sorties during day and more than 20 sorties during those 71 war moments in the eastern sector. So covering that Magna river crossing, then including the witnessing of surrender ceremony, that historical surrender ceremony along with our Vinkamana Krishnamurthy sir. Yes, sir, you may take us through your wonderful journey, a glorious journey to start with.
Jai Hind, gentlemen. I will today take you through my career. Actually, the presentation would be in two parts. The first part will be today and the second part would be subsequently. In the first part, I will start with my commissioning. I was commissioned in June 69 and then my first posting was in Southeast Assam in a place called Kumbigram, and I was posted to 110 helicopter unit. I am from the helicopter stream and I was commissioned as I told you on 21st June 1969, and I reported to Kumbigram in June 69, after which I commenced my training on the Mi-4 helicopter because 110 helicopter unit was equipped with Mi-4 helicopter. It took me roughly 2 years to get fully operational on the helicopter, and just prior to the 71 war, I was categorized C White. That is a category 2. I was cleared to carry troops and passengers. So this categorization board was done just prior to the war. The war was declared, as you all know, on December 3rd. And immediately we were recalled to the unit, and all the aircrafts were dispersed to different locations. The majority of them went to a place called Teliamora, along with the flight crew and the ground crew. And it was headed by our CO, Squadron Leader CS Sandhu, and Flight Lieutenant Ved is our flight commander. So eight aircrafts, or rather 6 aircrafts went to Teliamora, and the other 4 aircrafts were dispersed in different locations because in case of any enemy attack, so we were moved out from the airfield as such, from Kumbigram airfield. I was, the first 2 days, I went to Imphal and another place called Karimganj. But on the third day, I went to, that was on the 6th, myself and then Flying Officer Krishnamurthy, we went to Aijal and we were waiting for instructions there at Aijal. On the 6th at around lunchtime, just before lunchtime, we got a message from the army that the helicopter along with our crew, we have to proceed to Teliamora. So we went to, and we'd be given instructions at Teliamora. We reached Teliamora around 4 o'clock, and there was instructions for us at the helipad that we have to proceed to another place called Kailashar, which was right on the border, and it was in Tripura. It was north of a place called Kailashar was north of Agartala. So by evening of around, it was around 6 o'clock, we reached Kailashar. Kailashar is one of the satellite airfields around Agartala. There are 3 of them: Agartala, Kamalpur, and Kailashar. And Khawai rather. Khawai, Kamalpur, and Kailashar. And Kailashar was in earlier days, there used to be an Indian Airlines flight which used to do this hopping flight from Agartala to Kamalpur and Khawai. We reached there. When we reached there, already the unit was carrying out sorties to Sylhet. That helipad at the landing ground at Sylhet was selected by Group Captain Chandan Singh, who had gone on a recce mission in a Chetak helicopter, and he had found this landing ground just next to the river, just across the river, and in front of that landing ground where 3 helicopters could fit. The intelligence report told us that right in front was a building where the brigade of the Pakistanis were located.
Okay.
So when they had gone, also there was firing at the helicopter, and the helicopter was not damaged, but they came back safely, and then we started doing the shuttles, and the heliborne operations were being done for 4-5 Gurkha Rifle, the army battalion, which was to be heli lifted, and this was the army plan to carry out heliborne operations to take over Sylhet for the army in the shortest possible time. Otherwise, by the time they went by road and crossed the river,
So what was there in Sylhet, sir? What was there? What was establishment? Some
that was
brigade?
the brigade headquarters of the Pakistani brigade,
Okay.
Pakistani army.
So, yeah.
So we removed our clamshell doors and prepared the aircraft, carrying out shuttle services to from Kailashar, and picking up the troops at Kalora, and then going. There's another place just across the border which was taken over by 4-5 GR, and they were located there. So we would pick up the troops from there, carry on to Sylhet, land at Sylhet, and then come back. So like that, we carried out a number of sorties by day and by night in formation of 3 helicopters, and we were going at altitude of 50 to 100 meters
Why, sir? Why so low?
to be clear of any enemy, spotting us from distance. If we were at height, we would have been easily spotted by the enemy. So
But if you are going
kept
at
low.
lower level, then
No, we knew that where were the Pakistani concentrations. We kept well clear of that. So we had to keep low, because if they spotted us from far, then already they'd be ready that as soon as we are coming, they would shoot at us. So this helipad, we were landing one behind the other, and 3 at a time.
but that even that helipad also must be in the enemy territory, sir.
Yeah, it was in enemy territory.
So how then?
But
What
it
was the
had been
protection
already,
given to you? Then?
see, by the time I went there, already it had been secured by the earlier forces which were landed by the rest of my unit.
Our Indian force.
Our
Yes.
CO who had gone and approved the helipad, CO and flight commander.
Right.
After that, they did a number of shuttles. By the time we reached there, they had already done
Okay.
a few shuttles. So
Right.
when we went, we carried some troops, and we landed there, disembarked the troops, and we were told that we should not go ahead or turn to the right. We had to just come back. After dropping the troops, we had to just come back, because ahead was all Pakistani positions.
Okay.
So there would be ground fire, which ground fire was there all throughout. There was ground fire.
Okay.
Most of the aircrafts were hit, including my aircraft was also hit in number of places. But we did not sustain any damage to the helicopter, which was critical to the aircraft. So we were able to fly the aircraft in and out. Only a point was that the troops that we were lifting, the army troops, the 4-5 GR troops were not trained for heliborne operations. So the flight engineers and gunners that we had, no, it hasn't come. I can't see you all.
I can.
Okay.
Yeah, we can.
It's come.
Yes, sir.
So the flight engineers and gunners they briefed the ground troops very well, and they kept them clear of the tail rotor. All the precautions that were supposed to be adhered to, carried out by the flight engineers and gunners who were accompanying us.
What is the capacity of Me Force, sir, to carry how many number of troops?
15 to 20 passengers 20 troops we could carry.
Yes.
And otherwise we could carry a gun along with the crew of about 6 to 8 people. That is also, artillery gun were also there. So we did these number of shuttles all through 7th and 8th, and the night of 8th also we did it. And then on early morning of 9th, the entire operation was complete, and we had heli lifted 650 troops.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and 13,000 kgs of load. This was 8 helicopters had done this role.
Okay. So by the
from-
3 helicopters, sir, or the 6 helicopters?
No, there were 8 helicopters.
Achha,
3 were landing at a time over there.
Achha, okay.
So we land 3, and then the
Come back.
others would follow, with a time gap between the
By
the
rotation, yes.
the three aircraft. So we were in a formation of 1 in front and 2 on the sides.
Yes.
After this was accomplished, this task was accomplished, that was on the morning of 9th, we were told to move because their entire battalion had been heli lifted to Sylhet. And in the night when we operated, I forgot to mention this,
Yeah.
we had dropped one helipad party, which was consisting of one officer, one FAC officer, that was flying officer. He is also my batchmate.
Okay.
Flying officer SC Sharma, navigator. So he had a GU set, the RT set, and he was in contact with our aircrafts about 5 to 10 minutes short of Sylhet. So
Okay.
we would know whether there is any ground fire, whether it's clear. So he'd give us that warning that don't come at this time or come this time, or look out for your left, look out on your right, because he was experiencing this ground fire on the ground. And at night he had placed some goosenecks for our reference, because when we were landing in that, it was pretty dark at sunset time. But at night there was the moon was there, and the other good factor for us was that throughout this 71 war, we had good weather.
Oh, that's
We
great.
didn't have any fog or clouds or any such thing, rain or
So
any such thing.
were you trained for night flying, sir?
Yes, that I must mention that also. We were trained for night flying because before the operations, General Sagat had briefed our CO and flight commander in September that he had planned heliborne operations by day and by night. Air Force had given the okay, the command had given the okay for that. But they did not envisage that we would do so many sorties and lift so many troops.
Okay.
Air Force had given the army the information that we could lift only 120 troops. That is all. And rest of the role of this helicopter, Me-4 helicopter, was to do casualty evacuation and communication. That was all. And this kind of heli lift was never planned by the Air Force. But General Sagat had pre-warned our CO, who was very well ready for that. And our task force commander, Group Captain Chandan Singh, had got the okay for this kind of heli lift from the command headquarters after we started operating.
That's great.
So it was a great operation that was carried out, the first time in the history of helicopters that a night heliborne operation was done, and that too into unknown enemy territory.
I
So
think that too without any untoward incidents, in spite of in the night.
Yes,
also.
they were, as I told you, that couple of aircrafts were hit. One of the aircrafts was hit in the oil cooler. Whole oil had leaked out, but that aircraft managed to come back to
That's
Tarora.
what.
Yeah, and then
That's the greatness of our
salvaged that
pilots, sir.
aircraft.
Greatness of
and
pilots.
Correct, and it continued to fly.
Yeah.
Continued to fly after that. So, despite we having air superiority in Bangladesh, immediately after the war had started, because we had completely obliterated the Pakistani Air Force, but we still encountered ground fire whichever sector that we operated in, whether it was in Sylhet or whether it was in further when we did the Meghna crossing also. There also we encountered ground fire. But fortunately, I would say that by the grace of God, nobody was shot down as such.
I think by sheer professionalism and skill, that level of skill our pilots exercise, I think that made the difference.
Yes, that is due to the good training of our seniors who were there at that time, our flight commanders, and the good maintenance, I must also mention, of our ground crew and the engineering officers who did absolutely selfless job right throughout the operations, right from day one till went for the surrender on December 16th. So on the 9th, we moved to Agartala. And when we landed at Agartala, a helicopter, Chetak helicopter, just landed by our side, and we rushed to the tarmac to see what had happened. That helicopter had 32 bullet shots in it.
Shots, okay.
Yeah, and one of the pilots was flying officer Sidhu. He was shot through his leg and he was immediately evacuated to Teliamura Hospital.
Okay.
But the aircraft landed safely, no problem at all. And in that helicopter was a CO and flight commander, and also the General Sagat Singh and Group Captain Chandan Singh. So they were also in that aircraft, and they had gone to Rekhi for the landing grounds which we would use to cross the Meghna. Further after Agartala, the next operation, after Sylhet, the next operation would be across the Meghna, and that would commence from the 9th afternoon onwards. So what actually had happened was that the army had moved into East Pakistan in the Agartala region also, and taken over a place called Brahmanbaria. There were two places. One was Kalora and another was Brahmanbaria. And this Kalora was just inside East Pakistan, and Brahmanbaria was about 20 kilometers inside. So it would take us about 10 minutes to fly from Agartala to this Brahmanbaria. And there was assembled, it was inside a stadium. We were landing in a stadium. and we were landing similarly three and four aircrafts at a time, and landing in one line because that stadium was quite broad and well clear of each other. The army had assembled that 57 Mountain Division. They were coming there in stages, and we were heli lifting them from there across the Meghna. That was the plan of General Sagat to in two phases to heli lift the entire lot, the entire 57 Mountain Division of consisting of three major battalions and their equipment and their artillery support equipment, guns, all that we heli lifted from there to three places. Actually, the three places were Raipura, Narsingdi and Baidya Bazar. Three places were there. So these three places were across the Meghna, which was the breadth of the Meghna was 16 kilometers. So you can imagine.
16 kilometers.
Yeah. So that is why the army had decided, and all the bridges which were there going across the Meghna had been blown up by the Pakistanis. So the only way to go across and take over territory on the other side or encounter the Pakistani troops on the other side was by helicopter. And this helicopter, which I was telling you, which had 32 gunshots in it, that helicopter had gone down. Actually, the General Sagat Singh had instructed the pilot to go down to just have a look at the landing area, whether it was, clear for so many helicopters to land, because it was quite a big landing zone. A little ahead of that, there were some Pakistani troops positions were there. So they started firing, and by the time the helicopter pilots had, this flying officer Sidhu and his other co-pilot, by the time they realized that they had already been hit, so they immediately pulled up and then they came back and landed at Agartala. But when we saw this aircraft, everybody was a little, shaken up by seeing that. But that didn't deter us because we were prepared we knew that this war would carry on for some time. It is not going to end so soon. When we initially got our briefing at Kumbhigram, we were told that this operation could carry on for a few months because nobody knew what was the exact
outcome of the, yes, sir.
Yeah, and what was the real plan of the army. Yeah. Only we knew that this General Sagat Singh had some major plan of heliborne operations,
Yeah.
So this operation started. We prepared all our aircrafts and they were all parked on the side of the runway. As it was in Kailashar also, the helicopters were all parked on the side, and refueling and everything was done there, and the servicing of the aircraft. And then we came to Agartala. Similarly, the helicopters were all parked on the side, either side of the runway. They had their clamshell door, which I sent you the picture.
Yeah, yes.
That door at the back was removed, and that was for easy embarking of the troops and disembarking, so that they could get in. Instead of getting in through the door, they would get in through this wider space. So they'd get in on either side of the aircraft.
This is the one you have used for that Basilet and also?
Exactly. This was the Mi-4. The 110 helicopter unit was equipped with this Mi-4s, and we had 10 Mi-4s at Agartala.
Yeah.
And we had 2 Mi-4s from 105 helicopter unit, which is located at Chabua. And 111 also we had 2 helicopters. This is now if you can have a look at this helicopter.
So here it is.
You can see the helicopter with the clamshell door removed.
This is open. Okay, that's open. Okay.
Yeah, troops can embark and disembark from that area. At this moment, the aircraft is not yet started up, but when it started up, the tail rotor is pretty close at the back.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah, now it's very clear.
Yes, sir.
If you had just show me that helicopter again, the first picture.
This one, sir. Meghna crossing.
No, this is the map.
Meghna crossing, sir.
No, not this. The helicopter I want. I just want to explain.
Yes,
sorry.
Where are you, sir? Here you are?
Okay, I am here on the left extreme. At the bottom. Okay, this is the Mi-4 helicopter, and if you notice that the cockpit is right on top and the engine is in front. This front portion is the engine, which is mounted in the reverse fashion.
Okay.
The front of the engine is next to the cockpit, and the rear of the engine is where the cowling is.
Sir.
So if you, here that is the one, that earlier one. This is General Niazi.
This one,
yeah.
this is.
Yeah, this one. Okay. So
So
you
this
can
one,
see that,
General Niazi, sir.
this is General Niazi at Dhaka Airport, and that is Air Marshal Diwan next to him.
Special Heliborne Operations Space Force.
Okay.
Kalura
This was
Sylhet.
the Sylhet one, which I have already explained.
Yes, sir.
This is from Kalora to Sylhet. If you can see where is Sylhet, Sylhet is to the
Here it,
north
here it,
of
on
Kalora.
the right top corner.
Yeah. So you can show them Sylhet. Yeah.
Oh, right, sir.
And here Kailashar is just below, not
One
this
second.
one. This is
Kailash,
a
where is Kailashar, sir?
Kailashar is just south of Kalora. Kalora is here, and just south there's Shamsher Nagar, and just below that, inside India, you can see Kailashar is marked there.
India, okay. Yes, here it is, sir.
Yeah.
From here to this place, Kalura and this
Sylhet. It was about 20 minutes of flying.
You may zoom, please. You may zoom, please, so that we
Okay.
can. Yeah. Some
Okay.
more.
Yeah, you zoom it is coming very clearly.
Yes.
Now you can see. Yeah. Can you see, sir, now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now crystal clear.
Okay. Yes, sir. So this is the 20 minutes flight, I mean, from here.
Okay, and this was done on 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Yeah, these 3 days. Yes, sir.
On 3 days. And then,
This one, sir.
no, this is Comscott.
Yes, sir.
We carried on 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th up to the 15th. In fact, the last sorties we flew on 14th and 15th early morning. After that,
Summer, sir. Summer down.
on
Yes.
14th and 15th was the last sorties. And the sorties, as I told you, were carried out to Raipura, Narsingdi, and Vaidya Bazar. These were the 3 places from Brahmanbaria. And all these helipads were well secured by the army. And we landed all these 3 battalions across the Meghna. And these 3 battalions, the total load which we took was, there was up for Brahmanbaria. From Brahmanbaria, we took 1,286 troops and 12,500 kgs for Raipura.
Okay.
And then from Brahmanbaria to Narsingdi, we took 1,570 troops, 12,650 kgs. of
So here
load.
also carrying out operation both day and night, sir.
Yeah, both day and night.
Okay.
And here also we had these helipad officers who were manning the places with goosenecks to give us just a reference. And here we didn't have so many goosenecks because there were a number of aircrafts landing. They were landing 5 at a time because
Oh,
we were landing 5 it was a much broader field than the one at Sylhet. Yeah, Sylhet was very restricted area. This was quite broad, and it was not that dusty, but there was a lot of hay flying up because these were all paddy fields, because in winter there are no crops. So luckily, that's why we were able to operate to these places, since they were the land on which we were landing, paddy fields of the Pakistan. So these 3 places were quite clear, and when we were operating along the river, because the river was there, we had to cross at one point and then go across to the landing zones on the other side of the river. There were a few gunboats spotted, which at odd times they were firing at our aircraft, but no aircraft was hit by any of those gunboats,
That's great.
which were Pakistani guns. But wherever we landed in all these 3 places, there was fire, but not as much as it was in Sylhet. There was
Okay.
gunfire,
Okay.
and the army was encountering such ground fire, but we were able to maneuver
Manage.
our aircrafts and bring them, land them safely there, and bring more troops and load, including guns and personnel. So this particular lot that we heli-lifted, this entire 57 mountain div, the entire operation ended by the evening of 15th.
15.
And
Okay.
they had, by the time, moved up. This division had moved up and coordinated with the troops that had been para-dropped at Tangel, from Agra. They had brought a full para battalion was there, and they had landed there. And these people married up with them and then moved into Dhaka.
So that
what actually happened
was that paradropping done during night or day, sir? Paradropping. Tangel.
that was done by night.
Night only.
So they had done the whole drop by night, and after they dropped, they coordinated with the heliborne force, and then they moved into Dhaka area, and that's how they and along with tanks which were also there along the river, that our tanks had moved in, and they captured Dhaka. And the bombing which was done by our aircrafts at the governor's house, that also led to the quick surrender of Pakistan.
Yeah, that
Actually,
is a decisive strike by our people.
It was a very decisive strike, yes.
Yes, sir.
And General Sagat actually had found a gap in the defenses of the Pakistani, through which we were taking the troops, and landing them across on the other side. So in this gap, and that's how the war finished so soon. And this was not even visualized by the rest of the army. They didn't think that the war would end so soon. But because of this rapid movement of a whole division from this side, and then tying up with the airborne paraforce, they moved into Dhaka. In fact, when we were at Agartala, when we were briefed for the last few sorties at Vaidya Bazar, Group Captain Chandan Singh had told us that now the battle will move into the streets of Dhaka.
Oh.
And there the casualties will be very much more
Right.
than what you have flown so far, because it will be at close quarters. and these
Face to
people-
face fight. Yeah.
Yeah, and they will be in in buildings and such places where they can easily shoot you down. But fortunately for us, that kind of thing did not happen, and this movement of the army across the Meghna and further onto Dhaka was very rapid. And then by then I think the Pakistani forces were quite demoralized. Then General Jacob, who was the chief of staff of the army, Eastern Command, he came in a Chetak aircraft he was given the all clear to come to Dhaka from Calcutta.
Right.
So he came in that Chetak aircraft from Calcutta, landed at Dhaka, and he went to the governor's house where General Niazi was there, and negotiated the surrender, which was to take place on 16th.
Right.
So this news we got.
So when did he come? On
Evening.
15th he came?
On 15th. Yeah. So we knew that he had gone there to negotiate the surrender, but we did not know what had transpired. But by the evening of 15th and morning of 16th, we were told that the army commander, that is General Arora, and his team, and the Air Force CNC and his team from Shillong, and Naval Chief of Staff from Eastern Command from Calcutta, all would come by Avro aircraft to Agartala. And then this whole party would be taken in 5 Mi-8s and Mi-4s and 3 Chetaks to Dhaka. That was the plan of action. So what happened was that the CO and flight commander decided that all the crew, actually the army had said only the flying crew will go, others won't go. I must also mention to you that before we started this entire Operation Cactus Lily, the CO and flight commander had decided that only the pilots, the young pilots of 110 would take part in this operation, because there were another about 5-6 pilots who were done the Mi-8 conversion in Russia and had come to Kumbhigram at that time and were attached to our unit. But he said that only the pilots who are there at Kumbhigram, only they will fly.
Okay.
And they were not taken.
Okay.
So that was how it started. So similarly at Agartala, when CO and flight commander was told that only the flying crew will go, the flight commander told us, don't worry, all of you just get into the aircraft. Because only 5 helicopters were going of our unit, and the 3 COs were flying, 3 of them, and then the co-pilots were decided by flight commander that the persons who flew the maximum will fly. So we were already detailed. So I was flying with then squad leader Karyappa, who was
great.
the CO of 111 helicopter.
Okay, sir.
So we went like that to Dhaka. The 5 helicopters and 3 Chetaks were at the back.
Whom did you take, sir? I think General Sagat Singh was taken by you. I mean,
General Sagat Singh and number of army generals and brigadiers and all, they were all in this aircraft going to see the surrender ceremony.
Okay,
That was the main aim of that exercise.
So was Krishnamurthy sir with you or in another helicopter?
He was in our helicopter.
Gotcha. Okay.
So anyway, we reached Dhaka, and the airfield was badly bombed by our own aircraft. So we anyway were landing on the taxi track only. We landed on the taxi track, all the 8 helicopters, and we parked there. And all the passengers all disembarked, and they all quickly towards the racecourse ground, because there were vehicles already arranged by the army to take them to the different types of vehicles. They were all civilian, military, all mixed type of vehicles were there. So by the time I had switched off the aircraft and got down and went, so I managed to get a vehicle with squad leader Karyappa, and we reached the ground.
Okay.
And there the ceremony was not yet started, because we reached around 4:15, 4:30 or so, and everyone was gathered around in that whole big racecourse ground it was, and tables were already laid. We couldn't see all that, where the tables and all were, because there was a big crowd in front of that.
Civilians were also there, sir? Civilians?
Civilians were at a distance. They were kept cordoned off by the army. They didn't allow civilians to come close to us, but they were there. Civilians were there, and they were shaking hands with us, and feeling very happy that that country was being liberated. Because as it is, there was so much of trouble, and so many people were massacred by the Pakistanis. So they had a lot of, there could have been a lot of trouble there, But the army kept everyone under control, and then the surrender ceremony started, and everyone was crowded around the table. We were at the back. We were just talking to the local people there.
Okay.
And after the surrender ceremony was complete, then we were told to move back to the airfield to get into our helicopters, and then we came back to.
So how much time did it take, sir, to complete this process of surrender?
It took about an hour or so.
Not much, only within 1 hour.
Yeah, because it was getting dark, and we had to get back to Agartala.
Sir.
So they were they wanted to finish everything fast. That was one of the, I think it was already laid down by the army to the Pakistani army that it had to be completed by this time, and all of them had to surrender by that particular time. And that whatever they did to show that they had surrendered. And
But was there any physical surrender, or only signing up instruments at that point?
no, the signing of thing, and they handed over their weapons and all.
Acha, okay.
That was also done there on the ground, But we didn't see all that, because it was all, there was such a big crowd in front. I didn't see anything.
And then Brigadier Apte sir and all, I think he was the other day
they were
narrating
in
the
front.
story.
He was
He's also on the
in
call.
front. Yeah, he could recall all that, because
Yes.
we didn't see all that. And then we were told that you had to get back to the airfield to get into the aircraft and go back to Agartala. So our passengers and all came. They also witnessed the surrender, and then they came back to the aircraft. We boarded the aircraft, and by the time it had got fully dark, and we had taken off, and we reached Agartala, it was, I think, around 6 o'clock in the evening. Yeah, and then there was big celebration
In Agartala,
the
sir? In
night.
Agartala.
Yes, we had a rum punch and dinner and all that at the airfield only, because all our ground crew and air crew and all the air crew, that's including all the other two units also, we all gathered.
The whole
together.
station.
Whatever the detachment was there.
Oh.
And Group Captain Chandan Singh was the task force commander, so he led the show, and that's how the.
What was the feeling of our forces there at that point?
We were actually very happy. That firstly, we were very happy that we had liberated a country and made it free. East Pakistan had become Bangladesh, and before that only we had already got the flag of Bangladesh.
Okay.
Because the Mukti Bahini people were operating with us.
Yes, sir. Okay.
There was one Kilo flight which was located at Agartala.
Mm-hmm.
That consisted of one Dakota, one Otter, and one Alouette. And they were Air Force pilots who had trained these Pakistani Air Force, who had
Air Force pilot defected to us, sir.
They had defected to India, and they had been trained, and they were flying those aircraft along with our pilots.
Great.
And so they were also there. And
in the celebration, they were also.
So it was a big celebration because Pakistan, and we had the original Bangladesh flag had the map of East Pakistan on it.
Uh-huh.
Now it's only one red blob in the center of a green background. But at that time they had this entire East Pakistan was also shown on that map, shown on the flag.
Right.
So we had this big party, and by I think by late night we finished the party.
Same day, sir.
Yeah, same 16th. It was on 16th.
Itself. Great.
Yeah, we celebrated on 16th only.
Okay.
And then that was the end of the operation as far as we were concerned. Then after that, many other sorties were done, but I had to rush away to Pune, which I will not tell you that story.
Okay. Okay.
Because some telegram had come. So
Sir,
after that,
sir, one second. Krishnamurthy sir would like to say something at this point.
yeah,
No. When you said the same day, same night,
same night.
same night. He immediately started from there, just about the darkness, and landed at night.
At night,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah.
But sir, you made the history by being present in the photograph, whereas our Karyappa sir and Sridhar sir missed it.
No, that is that was reward for his curiosity.
Okay.
We were
Great.
not curious enough. He was so curious, and
Okay.
he found his way to go there, and he was there in that photograph. And that photograph we saw the next day in the morning, as he had described to you in the during his presentation. That it came the next day, morning paper. He was called by the CEO, and then they said that you are in the in world headlines, not just Indian headlines, but world headlines.
Well, yes, well, great. Yes, sir.
So that is as far as the war was concerned. And after that, as I said, I spent some more time in the unit till September 1972. And in September 72, I was posted out to 118 helicopter unit at Guwahati after spending 3.5 years at Kumbhigram. And that was a new raising, this Mi-8. It had just been, the aircrafts were new aircrafts which had come from Bombay. They already ferried in. I did the conversion course, and I became fully operational. Within 3-4 months, I became fully operational because it was a new aircraft and we were all the first pilots of that unit.
Yeah. Where did you do your conversion course, sir? Where did you do in foreign or India?
At Guwahati.
Guwahati.
Yeah, they had an MCF there only, which was people who were trained in Russia.
Sir.
They taught us all the ground subjects, and then the instructors who were there, the flight commanders and all, they gave us flying, and we got converted, and I got categorized within 3-4 months of my by around I think February. I had already got categorized on the Mi-8. And a little later after that, continuing on this journey, I got married. That was by the time I had become fully operational and well settled in that unit in 1974, April.
So, sir, what were the feelings from your family side, sir, during the operations time?
During the operations, I was not married. So,
But my parents' side, I think your father also Colonel, he was a doctor Colonel.
Yeah, he was nowhere, no more. He died in 1964 December when I was a cadet in NDA. He passed away.
Okay.
And my mother, she was in Pune, and my sister. So they were very anxious about the war. But when they came to know that everything has gone off well, so they were very happy.
So what was the mode of communication? Trunk calls only those days?
No, there was no mode of communication. Only inland letter, that FPO wala inland letter.
Achha, okay.
So we had no other communication, no telephone, no trunk call, nothing was there.
Okay.
So that was, of course,
yes.
They were very, when the war was over, they were very, happy that I had come out of it.
Okay. Lot of great relief to all. Yes.
Yeah, and we had won the war. That was even bigger achievement for the Indian Army and the Air Force. And the cooperation between the Army and the Air Force was exceptional. And that is what actually, I must say, was the main reason behind this swift operation that was carried out. And also there was no damage to, no aircraft. There was an aircraft which actually caught fire while going back to base. But that was due to some technical failure. It was not due to any aircraft being hit by ground fire and nothing like that. And all the ground crew, they put on an excellent show and gave us the aircraft whenever we wanted.
So what could be the reason, sir, to win the war in spite of hectic operations? Not a single damage took place.
That I would say that planning was done in a good way. That we avoided wherever we could, and the intelligence briefing was also quite okay, except At Sylhet, we got hell of a lot of ground fire. But in other places, ground fire was there, but it wasn't something to worry about.
So exceptional coordination even from the army side, sir, cooperation.
Yes, very good coordination, and everything was planned very well between the army and the air force.
Yes.
Group Captain Chandan Singh was our task force commander. He coordinated very well with the army, and he
Right.
came and gave us all the briefing which we needed for our flying and for our safe, operations,
Right.
which was very safe, I should say that way. The weather was very kind to us. There was no bad weather in any of the days that we operated. We had a good full moon, and there were no clouds also. So it was like cloudless night. But we had to fly low, and our navigation was a little difficult in the initial stages. But we are quite familiar with that terrain over there, and it was all plain terrain. There were no hilly areas or no
So,
obstructions.
Yeah, here
No.
one point, sir, I would like to draw your attention. During the 5th of December, our now Group Captain Das sir is also on the call.
Yeah.
So he became the hero of our Longevala battle.
Okay.
So did you know, sir, during that time that he did this like this?
No. During the war, we only knew about our area. We didn't know anything.
Nothing.
I'm sure he didn't know what we were doing.
Oh, yeah, because of this communication problem too.
Yeah, communication was not like today. You can see everything on your telephone. You don't even have in your
Okay.
smartphone. You could get all the information. But in those days, things were very. He will agree with me, I'm sure.
Das
What
sir
do you
would
say?
like to make any point at this point, sir.
Yes,
Sir.
it was great by Sridharam Saab and his colleagues, all of them in the East Pakistan, which became Bangladesh. They did an excellent job.
Sure.
And the coordination which they had with the army was exceptional. There was no communication between East and West.
Oh, absolutely. Okay.
That is true. Absolutely. There was no communication between East and West.
We did not know what was happening in East Pakistan side.
Okay.
And they won't have known what was happening.
Yes,
either.
sir. Okay.
Sir,
Sir.
very rightly,
Sir.
today's communications at the press of the button on your
Yeah, gadget, mobile.
Mobile, yes. That is what. Today is too good. You can't compare it with that time.
Great, sir.
You cannot
Great. I think in spite of all this, yes, sir. That's sir.
Okay, so I'll continue with my journey. And as I said, I got married in April 1974.
Yeah.
And my wife Gayatri, we came to Guwahati from Kerala because I actually belong to Kerala. And the wedding was in Tellicherry, my hometown. And we came back to Guwahati, and that time we used to do a detachment at Mohanbari. So, and my wife's uncle and aunt were close to Mohanbari, a place called Duliajan.
Mm.
So we used to do air maintenance mainly for the army and for the civil also, dropping loads in forward areas for army outposts and for civil ADST load also we were dropping. We were dropping both on skids as well as by parachute. So this was a part of the role of the Mi-8s, which were operating Guwahati to Mohanbari and then further,
Sir.
forward area. So that we had a nice time in Mohanbari, and the detachment used to be generally for about a month, and then the crew used to be changed. We used to go back to Guwahati, and this carried on till my posting came to NDA.
Okay.
In January of 1975, I was posted out from Guwahati. I had by then converted, and I was fully categorized and well established in Mi-8s when my posting came to NDA as an instructor. So initially I was posted, as I told you earlier, as a divisional officer, but I didn't stay there for very long because there was a shortage of glider instructors in the Air Force training team at the academy. So I was called there and told that now you do your conversion on the glider and I did 100 launches and became fully operational and ready to instruct cadets.
Right.
I had also done a methods course that time, the methods of teaching for teaching the cadets. So in each course, roughly around 50 to 60 cadets